Hello, spooky crew. Our tote bag drawing is officially closed, and we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who entered. We are so grateful for the love and the support, and we have loved reading your reviews. Missed the tote? No worries. We're still sending out high-quality vinyl stickers while supplies last. Just email us proof of your rating and review along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, and we'll get one headed your way. Quick promise, your address is only for mailing the sticker. No emails, no selling info, no funny business, just spooky gratitude. Thanks again for supporting the show. You are the reason we do this.
Welcome back to the Spooky Darlings. You are listening to our second Follow-Up Friday episode. I'm Emily.
I'm Haley. I'm Nettie.
And this is a check-in where we touch base on all the things that we wish we had shared with you in the recent episodes. Today we'll share a listener email, we'll revisit the gang-stalking episode, and touch a little bit on mental health. Plus, we will highlight a couple of crime headlines that fascinated us from this week.
Before we read the letter from our listener, Nettie, you have a few things you want to touch on.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about mental health. Just in the gang-stalking episode, we talked a lot about paranoia. And so I thought that before Haley reads this letter, we should just take a moment and talk about mental health. And I know that things like gang-stalking can actually hit home for a lot of listeners. Paranoia is something that a lot of people experience, and it can be exacerbated during times of stress or trauma or isolation. And it's important to know that if you feel like you're being watched or followed or targeted, even if you're not sure what's real, it's something that happens to a lot of people. And it's okay to talk to a mental health professional. A trained therapist can help you figure out if your fears are based on something that's actually happening in reality, or if your fears are based on some trauma or anxiety that's happening in your life. And we also want to acknowledge that sometimes people are being watched or followed. And gang stalking, while often a symptom of paranoia, it is real, it can happen, and we don't want to minimize that. One of the best ways to tell the difference between real world threats or intrusive thoughts is to get the outside perspective of someone else, particularly a trained professional. So if you're feeling unsure of what's real around you, just talk to someone. If you can't afford a therapist or don't have access to one, there are some places to call. There's a National Mental Health Helpline. 988 is what it is in the US. And once again, we, the Spooky Darlings, are not mental health professionals, but we really do enjoy talking about human psychology. And so it's something we're going to be talking about a lot. And we just want to make sure we're talking about it carefully and respectfully.
Yes.
Thanks, Nettie.
Thank you.
So, Haley, did you want to go ahead and read the email from our listener?
Yes. So this is from one of our listeners. She says, I loved the episode about gang stalking. This is something I have seen someone experience firsthand. For safety and privacy reasons, please don't use my name. My ex-husband had paranoia about others being out to get him. From early on in our relationship, at first it was subtle. It was about his family. He would think no one in his family loved him or liked him. He thought they were all talking about him and planning ways to have, quote, interventions, quote, unquote, with him for no reason. Over the years we were together, the behavior got worse. He had other mental health issues that he's self-medicated with weed and psychedelics. The drug use increased a ton when we hit a rocky point in our relationship. It got to the point where he fell into a drug-induced psychosis. We visited the ER first. The entire time he thought I was planning to sabotage him along with all the hospital staff. When I was able to convince him to let me drive him to a larger city, in parentheses, so I could take him to a psychiatric hospital, end parentheses, he had delusions in the car. He told me that all the cars surrounding us were full of people with guns trying to kill him. He thought he saw red lasers on his chest from these guns.
Oh my gosh.
With help from family, we got him to the hospital. The entire drive, he was telling me I was sabotaging his life and I wanted him to fail. He eventually reached an almost catatonic state and could not even speak in coherent sentences anymore. There was obviously some complex stuff going on, mental health issues, and substances involved. He was able to get some care, and it was suspected he had schizoaffective disorder. Unfortunately, he is my ex-husband for a reason. He declined to follow doctor's orders. He was able to fake normal and was released from the hospital. He continued to blame me and threaten me about all of this, and he continued using drugs. My hope, obviously, is that he is grounded in reality again, but given he has been paranoid about being gang-stalked most of his adult life, I sometimes wonder if he's still experiencing this under the surface. It was a very scary and traumatic experience that I would never wish for someone to witness. Thanks for this super cool podcast. I let Haley know I have some paranormal experiences in my life I will share later on. Keep it up.
All right. Thank you so much for writing in.
Thank you, listener. We really appreciate it.
Yes, I read your letter with such fascination, and we can talk about these things from an outside perspective, and it's interesting to know how close it hits to home. Like even within our own family, we have had like some mental health issues. I don't think it would be inappropriate to say our great-grandmother was institutionalized at the age of 28 with schizophrenia and spent the remainder of her life either institutionalized in a mental institution or when she became too old in an elderly care home.
Yep.
And back when she was institutionalized, like I would say it was the 30s or 40s, or probably the 30s.
Yeah.
There was not an understanding of mental health. There wasn't an understanding of what could help or what could have triggered it. And so I don't know, I guess I'm really glad that mental health has come so far. And I wonder, is schizoaffective disorder, I don't know if either of you know this, is that the one that's induced by drug use?
I don't know if it's induced by drug use. What I feel like I do know is that schizophrenia, up until even just like in the recent like couple of decades, schizophrenia was kind of used as a catch-all. And so I don't know if our grandmother even had, or great-grandmother had schizophrenia.
Right. She might have been diagnosed as something else. It had been in modern times.
With the more modern, with how much more we know now.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And so
I think schizoaffective disorder is just the new term that they're using for schizophrenia.
Okay.
I don't think that it's just drug induced, because just like a quick little search the types are bipolar type, depressive type, or mixed type, which can be both. I think it's just kind of like a gradual replacement of the term schizophrenia. That's my understanding.
Okay. I do have a friend who has a loved one who was diagnosed with like bipolar with delusional tendencies, and how that came about was like he thought he was getting text messages from Katy Perry and thought he was like in communication with her, and then when he finally was like in a facility that was helping him and he was like, no, look at my phone, I have text messages from Katy Perry, and he was able to look at his phone, there were no messages.
Wow.
And so I think we're like more in the day and age of like getting a little more niche diagnoses.
I just think a lot more people are talking about their mental health and seeking treatment, and there's a lot more compassion surrounding it nowadays, and hopefully that just continues.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Into a good trend. I can't help but like think about our great grandmother and her life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
spent institutionalized, and how hard that must have been for her, but also how hard it was on our grandma and our aunts and uncle that basically grew up without their mom. Yeah. And when she was with them, she was not well for much of it. So
yeah.
Okay, and I was wrong. Schizoaffective is not just a replacement for schizophrenia. I read an AI overview and it was just led me astray. Sorry.
AI overview leading us astray again.
Once again.
once again.
So thank you, listener, for writing in.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Well, there have been some really interesting things happening in true crime news. Anyone who's been following the news knows that Brian Koberger, who was the murderer in the Idaho 4 case, that he took a plea deal and basically will be spending life in prison. I think he got 4 life sentences without the possibility of parole. And last week, the families of the victims were able to give victim impact statements. And did either of you get a chance to listen?
Yeah, I definitely cried.
I listened to some of them, and just a little bit of a background for us, the three of us. We all three felt very close to this case because a member of our family was attending the University of Idaho at the time that it happened. She could see the house where the murders took place from her dorm window, or from her sorority house window. It was something that we were all pretty gripped by and riveted by. It was I don't know. I know that we just felt very, very connected to the case just because of that.
Yeah, it was especially scary during the time the murders happened and before they caught him. It was terrifying to know that she was on campus, that she was walking around often by herself.
Not far from the location.
Yeah, and I think that there are probably like 1 million family members that had loved ones attending there. I mean, not 1 million, but...
Well, it was a huge impact on the entire campus and the families of the kids attending the campus, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know that for the three of us, it kind of took over our life. Like, it just was something where I personally could not stop checking the news about it. And when they announced that they had caught the, suspect at the time, that they had caught Brian Koberger and arrested him, it was just so much relief.
Same.
So much relief. And it's scary to know that happened on, like, in Moscow, Idaho, this small kind of rural school where you feel like it would be okay to leave your door unlocked. And you feel like, as a parent, like, I know that so many parents spoke out saying, we sent our child there knowing the crime rate was low, knowing this would be a safe environment for them to have their college experience. And then someone like Brian Koberger comes in and really wrecks it all.
Yeah.
I hesitate to share this because I know that, like, people probably won't appreciate, like, any kind of making light of anything to do with this situation. But I did, from the moment that we saw Brian Koberger's face as a suspect and the description of the eyebrows, I immediately knew that his Muppet doppelganger was
The Eagle.
Sam Eagle.
Yeah.
We can share side by side on our Instagram. I've compared their eyebrows and facial structure. It's very similar. And I do think that Brian Koberger, as somebody who seems to take himself very seriously, he deserves some of that kind of, like, Muppetry.
We will put that on our Instagram. Emily is already... I agree, Emily.
Can we also talk about how it seems like he has ripped his eyebrows out a little bit?
Oh,
in his more current photos? Yeah, it does kind of look like he did.
It looks like he's either had them plucked or he is like ripping them out himself.
Stress.
So, I mean, yeah, I bet he doesn't have access to, like, an esthetician in prison, but...
No, but there are workarounds. You saw Lori Vallow's gorgeous look.
What you would call an Idaho 9.
Well, I disagree because I know too many people from Idaho that are super hot.
Hey, just let me have this and laugh.
I feel like once he heard the eyebrow description, that's when he started, like, going to town on his own eyebrows. Don't you think? He was trying for sure to minimize that. Oh, gosh, she's showing pictures of Brian Koberger. He's got such a punchable face.
Like, the eyebrows are way less, like almost invisible.
I mean, yeah.
What they were before.
Yeah, they're definitely less. Well, okay,
one of the victim impact statements did mention his eyebrows. She was like, I don't know if you're ripping out your own eyebrows or whatever, but it cannot take away that we have photos of you with your bushy eyebrows.
What a turd.
Was that Olivia or was that Dylan? I don't think it was Dylan.
I think it was Olivia.
The sister.
Yes, it was definitely Olivia.
So I really loved and was, I don't know, I found Olivia's victim impact statement so refreshing. I just thought she came in, she immediately said, "You're not going to hear me cry. I'm not going to be shaking. You're not going to hear my voice tremble. I know that's what you want." And then she proceeded to read a series of questions, and she didn't say where they were from. But later people were like, "Oh my gosh, she took the questions from his interview that he developed, that he used in his master's thesis to ask criminals. Like, what were your thoughts right before you committed the crime? What was your state of mind as you went into the victim's home?" It was like every question that he had written on that, she asked him. I just think she's so badass. I think that it's really amazing that she went in, didn't give him what he wanted. Like that was the only time like the body language experts like noticed he got kind of tense and upset. He really actually seemed to exhibit no emotion. And then I saw a little after, I don't know if any of you saw this, but I saw like an after interview with Olivia. I think it's Olivia with an A, with Olivia, where she said that while she was addressing Brian Koberger, that every instinct in her body was saying, this is not a human. Like she said, it felt like a wild animal in the room, like a predator. And that everything about her said, this man is dangerous. She knew she was safe. She said it wasn't like, she was logically not afraid of him, but it was like her human instinct said, not safe. There's something just missing from him. And I loved her ending line, like that if he hadn't come in like a thief in the night while they were sleeping, you know, while they were passed out, and I think she used the word like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your ass. Or I think she said Kaylee would have kicked your effing ass. And I listened to it and I literally was like, oh my gosh. That was amazing. That was the best thing I've ever heard.
Yes. It was very powerful.
I mean, I also felt like Dylan's was powerful. I know she did get emotional, and that was like kind of the opposite. But I mean, I listened and I cried with her. Like I was like that. He took so much, and that was her point. And it probably won't get through to him, but it probably felt cleansing to her in some way to be able to say that to the face of this monster.
Yes.
You know, like
totally fine. I loved hers.
It's like in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah. She was.
I was so proud of her. It must have been so terrifying.
And she was dragged through the mud.
People were terrible to both of them. It's just awful. It's so awful.
I could not believe so many people online trying to say that Dylan and Bethany had something to do with this murder. I never bought it for a second. These were like Dylan had just turned 19 when this happened. And honestly, she's just like this innocent little girl trying to have a college experience. Anyone who thinks that, and their reasonings are all, I just get a vibe. Like, there's no reason. There's no proof. There's nothing. It's like, I just have a feeling. Like, people that have never met them and just seen photos.
And people saying, I would have done this. I would have done that. And you don't know until you're in the position
Situation.
That these poor young, like, they're still kids. Like, these poor kids were in.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to do.
Did you guys know that Christy Gonsalves, so she's Kaylee's mom, during court, while the victims were, the families of the victims were reading their impact statements, she got a threatening text. And it said like, I just saw this morning. Steve Gonsalves reported on it because like one of the newscasters was like, we noticed something happened. Like, what was this? Because we noticed that Christy took her phone over to the deputy. And he's like, yeah, my wife got a threatening text. It just said, you know, this is such a show. I'm not saying this right, but this, you know, you're putting on a show. You know, Brian is innocent. And I am in contact with a wannabe serial killer or a budding serial killer who lives in Moscow, Idaho. And he has your name and he knows where you live. Basically threatening the mother of the victim.
Oh my
threatening
God.
Her safety.
Some
and
people are the worst.
Well, and I don't want to talk about like the violence, but they finally released what actually happened, like the state of the victims' bodies. If you want to know what it is, I've seen, you know, like some news reports on it, but these kids, I mean, talk about the definition of overkill. This was not just a couple stabbings and done. Like he had brutalized all 4 of them.
Oh, terrible.
He had to be on meth or something.
I wonder. He was a former heroin addict. It wouldn't be surprising to think that there was some other drug in his system, maybe even just for that night, maybe like to feel like it gave him the courage to do what he needed to do. I don't know. Terrible human. I would like to continue to honor the victims, continue to think about them, and just hope that Brian, like Olivia said, will just be forgotten in prison.
Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan. Right?
Yeah. Oh, another thing I saw, the police actually had him on a short list by December 17th. He was their lead suspect. And they actually had him on a short list like shortly after, but they got like a warrant for Google to search particular terms. And I actually screenshotted the terms because I thought it would be.
While you're looking that up, correct me if I'm wrong, but the traffic stops of Brian Kohberger were not an accident.
Oh, no.
When he's on his way to Philadelphia.
Yeah, those were totally intentional.
Yeah.
That's why they were both trailing a vehicle.
Yes.
So the police got a search warrant. So for 3 months before the murders, they wanted like the IP address of anyone who searched the address in Moscow, Idaho, and they have various variations of the address. King girls, because the girls lived on King Road, King girls with a Z, Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, they included his name, and then the names of the other 3 roommates, the 2 that were there, and then the one that was not there that night. And then for 8 hours after, and this is how they caught Brian, because he searched this right after the murders, Moscow murders, murder in Moscow, Idaho, murder in Moscow.
This is before they even called the police, right?
The list I'm reading is what the police included in their Google search. What's the word?
Subpoena?
Like a search warrant. Like they basically said, can we have these? But this was the list they gave for 8 hours after, and he matched several of them. Moscow, Idaho crime, Moscow, Idaho stabbing, University of Idaho murders, University of Idaho stabbing. Anyways, it goes on, and I can actually screenshot the list and put it on our episode. Yes, it's on our Instagram for this episode. But I thought that was pretty crazy. And oh my goodness, did you guys get to hear Maddie Mogan's grandmother's impact statement?
I didn't. I watched her father's.
Oh, her dad broke my heart. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like it's so sad when a man has done so much to like overcome things in his life, and then he gets the one thing taken from him that was like kind of keeping him sort of on the right track. And then you can just tell he's so broken. I hope he can be okay. But her grandma, I guess she said that when Maddie was little, they all got to pick what they wanted to be called. So she chose Nana. But Maddie called a banana a bedeedle instead of a banana. And then she, like her little 2-year-old brain, associated deedle with the word Nana. So when they would say like, go see Nana, she would say deedle. So she called her grandma Deedle. Aww. Isn't that? I just thought that was such a cute insight.
Cute. Breaks your heart.
I saw, reading comments on TikTok, there was someone who, after Dylan's beautiful statement that made me cry, like that dream she had, where she had a dream where she got to say goodbye to her roommates and hug them all. Oh gosh, it was such a beautiful statement. And there was someone who commented, "All I hear is me, me, me," and I wanted to like reach through the phone and be like, it's called a
victim impact statement.
She was the victim.
Asshole.
She was the victim. You're supposed to say how it impacted your life, and the person had the audacity to comment, "All I hear is me, me, me." Oh my gosh, what's wrong with people?
She's been through so much already, and like Nettie, like you were saying, just like even from day one, it was just like, and how quickly also the roommates were cleared by the police, and the police in this case did a really good job. And it's just like, can we leave these poor people, like these poor roommates alone? Like, first of all, like the survivor's guilt alone, let alone whatever else they had to flip and deal with. And
know.
You just hear it, and you hear it in their voices, you see it in their like body language, and the anguish on their faces when they even talk about this horrible incident. And poor, like Dylan, I sobbed through her.
I did too.
Not to make it about me, but just yeah.
I just felt her raw emotion. It was so real. And I mean, you know that it just, I guess that they let her sit in a different chair so she didn't actually have to look at him. And so he couldn't look at her.
Yeah. The lawyer, she was like, please just position yourself so I don't have to see him and he can't see me.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty great. Well, anyone see anything cool in true crime like this week in the news that you wanted to talk about on our follow-up episode?
I do have something I want to share, but if you want to go first, Nitty, I know that you mentioned you had seen something interesting this week.
I did. Well, I'm so fascinated with the genealogical DNA and how many murders are being solved. I feel like it's the most amazing thing, like what CODIS is doing. And so there was a murder that was just solved in California. It was a 1984 murder of 18-year-old Terry Arndt, who was a boy. He was parked with his girlfriend on like a road above their high school. I mean, it doesn't say in the article, but I was assuming they were, boyfriend and girlfriend and having some time together. And a man comes up to their truck, shoots Terry several times. Terry is the 18-year-old kid, tries to cover his girlfriend's body to protect her.
Oh my gosh.
But is shot. Then the man proceeds to sexually assault the girl multiple times and then runs away. The girl drives the truck that she was in with her boyfriend with his, he's still in it, down to the hospital, is able to report what happened. He ended up dying in the hospital. And then for years, unsolved. But they were able to collect DNA from the girl. And at some point, they did actually press charges and start the process of prosecution of a man that they thought did it. But this was at the beginning of the the DNA, where it's like a repeated sequence where you use just like a small part of DNA, and they were able to rule this guy out and drop charges against him. And then it just kind of sat cold for a while because they couldn't figure anything out. And then they put the DNA sample into CODIS. And CODIS uses like only 20 DNA markers, and they didn't find any matches. So eventually, in the past couple of years, they gave it to this other company called like Ortho or Othro or something. Okay. I don't know what it's called. But this other company it's a lot more markers. Like they do 1,200 markers, and they do it at a much like higher technical level where they're able to take degraded DNA, and they're also able to like widen the familial search so that you can find family members. And they were able to find this guy. He was like 64. His name was, what was his name? Roger Schmidt. And he, has obviously been able to live his life since he was 23 years old and committed this murder and the sexual assault.
Horrible assault, yeah.
Has lived his life. But now finally the family, remaining family of those two victims, and the victim herself, the one, we don't know her name, but the victim of the assault, like hopefully she has some closure, and hopefully the family of Terry, who, tried to protect his girlfriend, like shielded her body.
What? Oh, man.
It's terrible, but amazing that the modern technology helped people get closure.
Wow, that guy looks gross.
That's a picture of Roger Schmidt Sr.
I hate his guts.
We're like Roger Shit Sr. Am I right?
More like Roger Shit Sr.
Shittiot.
Yeah.
Shittiot Sr.
Anyone else? I thought that's one that stuck out to me. So yay. Yeah. Yay for another solved crime.
Woo. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, this whole DNA profiling CODIS stuff has to have a lot of criminals just scared.
Shaking in their boots.
And if you haven't been identified yet and you committed a horrible crime and you left your DNA behind, sucks to be you, idiot. Shouldn't have committed a crime in the first place.
Yeah. I hope you're scared. I hope you're shaking in your boots.
Yeah, I hope you're totally...
They're coming for you.
Scared and you shit your pants. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Go on.
And
Eddie.
I hope you crapped your pants.
Well, speaking of, I mean, in a similar vein, I will say the headline that really stuck out to me this week was that the serial butt sniffer that we all remember from 2023 struck again this week and was arrested in Burbank, California. So yes.
They found him.
His name is Khalees Karen Crowder. And he was arrested on July 22nd, which was just this past week, after he was surveilled in a Nordstrom rack sniffing a woman's buttocks.
Oh.
Yeah.
He crouched.
That is not the classy behavior of a Nordstrom
No,
rack.
he would crouch near her and try to discreetly sniff her buttocks.
Ew.
He was caught. He was detained at a nearby Walmart. The woman reported, and he was detained, and he was booked. He had a prior incident. 2023, a woman who was an influencer and had a TikTok account. She thought something was weird, so she recorded, and he literally was doing the same exact thing in a Barnes and Noble in California.
Around books?
He then
Innocent books?
around books and around butts.
Books and butts.
Around butts. And so he did it to her, and then he claimed that he was just tying his shoe, and then she observed him doing it to another woman in the store.
Why?
And after she posted on her TikTok, lots of other women came forward saying that the same man had done that to him. He was not charged in the 2023. Yeah.
Serial butt sniffer.
He was not charged in the 2023 incident, but he had been arrested in Glendale for peeping.
Ooh.
And spent some time in jail. And he also had an incident where he failed to register as a sex offender. So this guy has kind of been not only a serial butt sniffer, but he's kind of escalated in different ways. And,
Wait, is butt sniffing the escalation? That's what I want to know. Like, does it go
peeping?
butt sniffing to peeping, or does it go peeping to butt sniffing? Because I would think that butt sniffing is the...
That we know of.
Well, that we know of, it's peeping to butt sniffing, but who knows what else would come next, right?
Well, and several serial killers started out by
As
being
butt sniffers?
peepers.
Oh, peepers.
We don't know about butt sniffing. I haven't heard a ton about it.
I don't think that butt sniffing has been studied to the extent that it should be.
But
Is this making you guys think of the really good tongue twister? One smart filler, he felt smart. Two smart fillers, they felt smart. Three smart fillers, they all felt smart. I did it. You
Heart
try.
smaller. No.
You did a really good job with that. Really good job on that tongue twister. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a huge violation, and I know we're all a little bit laughing, and, my initial instinct was to giggle at the serial butt sniffer headline, but,
Yeah.
it is, for the women that he's done it to, they feel super violated, and it's horrifying that he's
Of course.
been doing this to women for years. And, yeah.
Well, and giving yourself those little permissions, he was going to continue to do worse stuff. And so I am really glad that this gross perv has been found.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm glad women came forward, because I can imagine that a lot of women were like, that guy was sniffing my butt, and they're like, go press charges. Your girlfriend's like, what am I going to go do? Tell the police that a man was sniffing my butt? No one's going to believe me. It's going to just seem too weird. I'm just not going to, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's probably so many women that would, but yeah, I can imagine it would be extremely violating.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm on the same page with you. It seems pretty crazy. I think, calling sniffing an assault, I mean, it's not wrong, but I can totally see how people would be hesitant to try to move forward with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Also kind of reminds me.
I'm glad he's been apprehended.
Yes.
Me too.
Also kind of reminds me of mom when she was going to college and in the library, and just that guy was feeling her leg. And then
She caught him under the table at the library.
She
then she
felt
later-
brushing on her leg and looks down, and he's under the table, just running his hand up her leg.
And then she later went to another sorority's house, and he was engaged to one of the other sorority sisters.
Yeah, and he became a gynecologist for a prison and was fired for inappropriateness. And I think his wife divorced him.
Oh, I never heard that. Mom always just said he became a gynecologist at the Oregon State Prison, and
creepy.
There was like a term for when you had to go into his office, and it was very disturbing. I can't remember what it was though.
Yeah, total creep.
Ugh.
Total creep.
Oh yeah, Haley, did you find anything interesting in the headlines this week?
Well, I did.
Probably not.
So
as
you know that
interesting
I love zodiac, signs. Also, I find the killer interesting, but we're not talking about the zodiac killer. We're talking about our signs. So, Nettie.
Yeah.
I Googled Florida man, February 18th.
Yes, I have done this before, and I would love to hear what you came up with.
This is the headline.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
It says, Florida man trying to kill, quote, demons tormenting him and went on a sledgehammer spree.
Yeah, that does sound like something that would happen on my birthday.
Sledgehammer.
Yep.
That's why you were asking my birthday and getting it wrong.
Nobody died, but a lot of property got damaged
well, that's what
throughout
happens.
his neighborhood.
When you combine demons and a sledgehammer.
When deputies arrived, they were told the man had jumped in a canal.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, full of alligators.
And maybe dolphins.
Yeah,
You can't
Florida.
jump in canals in Florida.
My mother-in-law had dolphins in her canal. Oh. It's cute.
Hey.
Yeah.
I like that.
That sounds way better than alligators. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's next?
So, Emily,
Yes.
April 9th. Police. Florida man threatened public with turtle army. Which sounds slow.
Oh my gosh.
So he was calling himself a saint and threatening people by saying his turtle army will destroy them. I assume by very slow trampling.
Oh my gosh. Turtle
There's
Army.
that band called Trampled by Turtles. Do you remember that?
Hey,
yes. And-
we should go to one of their concerts.
And some turtles of the teenage era
we're mutants.
are ninjas.
Mutant Ninja.
And mutants. And mutants.
So,
And what about yours? What about
last
you?
one, December 11th. Florida man uses Molotov cocktail and a sword to make a point about disrespecting a family member.
Yes.
Who in his family was disrespected?
He threatened a man while holding up a glass bottle with a cloth wrapped around its top, claiming it was a Molotov cocktail. And he was charged with arson firebomb, although it sounds like nothing ever got lit.
Wow.
But he may have been lit.
But he may have been lit. Did you make that up yourself?
I did, just right now.
Bazinga. Good job.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Nailed it.
Hey, stay tuned to future episodes where we'll give you more Florida Man headlines.
Super fun.
Yeah.
I do love the Florida man trend. That's super fun. My kids loved hearing me read them their birthday Florida man headlines. It's hilarious.
I was driving on a road trip with my friend Nellie, who I think might be a listener. I don't know. I won't tell her we talked about her, and then I'll find out if she's a listener because she'll mention it. And she was like, the kids were being kind of noisy. This was just like a few months ago, and so she's like, "Ooh, let's read the kids their Florida Man headlines to kind of calm them down." And then she was like, "Okay, Natalie, when's your birthday?" And then she was like, "Oh, never mind, can't read that." And then she'd go to the next one. "Ooh, can't read that." And she's like, "Okay, someone else, a new birthday." And she kept trying, but all the headlines were like way too
Crazy.
like they were all things like like things
Sex
you wouldn't
crimes.
read. Yeah, there were sex crimes or like child predation crimes, things you don't want to read to kids instead of the fun ones. Like
You
an
don't want
army
to read child predatory crimes?
instead of fun things like turtle armies, or I think we did finally find like a Florida man steals a fire truck, steals a deputy's pistol, jumps into a fire truck.
Yeah, I think
and like goes on a slow chase.
we found a couple about like naked men chasing people around a Chick-fil-A parking lot. Just, fun, lighthearted things
This
like
is
that.
fun.
Okay, so
there was one where a man threw a
and I
gator
just
at
want
a
to say,
woman.
Florida man, if you're listening and you've managed to keep yourself out of jail, because I'm pretty sure it's all one man, we'd love to have you on the pod.
It's just one guy.
I just real quick in paranormal news.
Ooh.
in the last couple of weeks, one of Annabelle, if you guys have been following, Annabelle's, the doll, has been on tour. And this is like the first time she's been out of the museum since Lorraine and Ed Warren died. And one of her handlers, unfortunately, passed away. And so we three, the Spooky Darlings, have decided we are going to do a full Annabelle episode that we're going to release in the month of October. And we kind of want to record it. She has a few more stops. Even though her handler died, she's still stopping in a few more places. So I kind of want to see what happens with that. And then we'll record a full episode on Annabelle. So look forward to that in October.
We have a whole plan for spooky season. For
coming
our
up.
listeners.
Okay, and we did want to thank everyone who has rated and left a review so far. We are super proud to have 5 stars with over 40 ratings. And I just want to mention that we've had reviews from Andy135, from K8Do, from Lisa Asia's mom, from Scaretron, A.Nikki Inkcraft, Re-Earer, Poppy Pout, Twin Sheets, Immortal Object, Occult Obsessed 345. And we just thank you so much. And anybody else who wants to leave a review, we appreciate it. We love it so much. And if you enjoyed this show, please subscribe, rate, and review. Downloads help us get traction, and tune in next Tuesday and listen to Nettie talk about the Wanda Beach murders.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening.
And
we love you, darlings.
And don't forget, if you want to write in your questions or your stories or comments, you can email us at thespookydarlings@gmail.com. And don't forget to find us on Instagram at The Spooky Darlings Podcast.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.
5 stars. It's called like subtle messaging. They don't even know they're hearing it because it's so quiet.
I actually love when I love here's the secret enough. I love when I'm listening to our podcast episodes and just at the very end it's just you whispering 5 stars.
Yeah, it's called there's a word for it.
Subliminal messaging.
It's like subtle messaging, but that's not the
We'll
word.
be like,
And the fun like little
download
clips.
our white noise app to listen to while you sleep. 5 stars.
It's just the 3 of us. 5 stars.
5 stars. Before we disappear into the shadows, don't forget, we're still sending out vinyl stickers. Leave us a rating and review and email us proof to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we'll send you some spooky snail mail while supplies last. And if your heart is still mourning that tote bag, may we gently tempt your way toward our merch store at thespookydarlings.printful.me. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay spooky.